I'm Hikey Bikey, and this is weekly bike maintenance. So I live in Alberta, and although this looks like mud, I'd say it's probably 80% cow poo. We're going to focus on our drivetrain, cleaning off the chain, cleaning off the cassette, and cleaning off all this mud. I have to admit that this is a little bit longer than a week. These jockey wheels are disgusting. I always think it's a good practice to wipe down your stanchions before you start your downhill. If they're covered in dust or mud, get it knocked off first. You don't need anything special for this. You can do it with just your fingers. You can do it with a gloved hand, or you can bring a little rag with you. After we're done with washing the bike, we're going to take a look at all these components, make sure that they're tight and in a good alignment. An often overlooked component of bike maintenance is making sure that all of your pivot points are torqued correctly. I've seen these come loose, and I've seen people lose them on the trail. Even after just a hosing, it looks quite a bit better than it did before, but as soon as the sun dries it out, it's going to look dirty. Now, my favorite wash bucket was confiscated by the police during the recent raid that they did on my house, so I have to use this old bucket. Really important, use a bike-specific cleaner. You can use this particular cleaner for the chain, but you can also dilute it with water and use it to wash the bike. Do not use a car wash solution. If you use a car wash solution and it has a wax or other impurities, it will affect your braking performance. Ask me how I know. I put myself into a tree earlier this year because of that very thing. It's extremely important that you protect your brake rotors, but more importantly, your brake pads. This is what the bike looks like after partially drying off in the sun. Now, we're not selling the bike, so we're not going to have to make it perfect. And it's just going to get nasty again in no time. Do not wash your drivetrain with your good bike washing sponge, and do not wash the brake rotors directly. And when you wash your bike, it really gives you a great opportunity to remember the moments when you crashed it and take a look at some of the new damage you might have caused in the last couple of rides. What I like to use for my bike chain for cleaning, a cheap bike chain cleaner and a microfiber cloth that I'll cut into 4 pieces. Now, this drivetrain isn't so bad. I pretty much maintain it almost every ride. I'll degrease it real quick with some degreaser and a rag, but let's get a little bit more thorough and use this thing. Remember, guys, you paid thousands of dollars for this bike. Let's make sure we take good care of it. Don't forget to do your jockey wheels. You might want to shift into an easier gear so you can get at the second jockey wheel as well. You can pedal your drivetrain backwards to move the jockey wheels around and get to a new spot. Don't forget to flip your bike over and get the other side of the jockey wheels too. Remember, this is just a weekly clean. We're not taking the wheel off, we're not taking the bike apart, we're not selling it. We're just trying to make it a little bit cleaner and run a little bit better. But always give a little TLC to the cassette. Now, my last step is to take my rag, pour some degreaser on it, and turn the cranks backwards while I hold on to the chain. No matter how clean the bike is, it always ends up being dirty. Now, like I mentioned earlier, don't touch the brake rotors with anything. You don't want to get grease on them. And if you want to be extra safe, get some brake clean and give them a good spray down. And then I'll go in and grab a little paper towel and give it a wipe down. Really important part of bike maintenance is making sure that your drivetrain and your chain are not overworn. This is a bike that's been used pretty extensively for a while. I maintain the drivetrain pretty well, and it's still within the okay category, and I will replace this chain this year. The next part is to check all of your pivots and make sure that they're torqued correctly. If you don't have a small inch-pound torque wrench, just make sure you go over them with an Allen key to make sure they're not loose. The nice thing is, most of these bikes will tell you exactly what the torque spec is, and they're pretty much always a 4 or a 5 mil. I always find that the biggest problem that I always face on the gears is that this particular wire is not tight enough. That's usually the issue. We need to make sure we get the tension correct. I need to get a new crimp on the end of this. If you're not confident about messing with the high and the low limit screws or with the cable tension, just take it to your local bike shop and make sure you get it done. Should be like 20 bucks. Now, a good secret to lubricating the bike is to shift down to third gear. So the third from the easiest. And slowly turn the cranks while you lubricate. Now you don't have to put a ton on, but you do want to use a good quality lube. Don't use something like Muck Off or WD-40. Go to your local bike shop. And they say that the dry lube is the best out here in Alberta because we have quite a bit of dry dust. Once you've got it lubed, just keep turning the cranks for a few minutes to let the lube work into the chain. Take care to wipe off any excess lube. Now the last step is to make sure it shifts into every gear. Now the important thing is to make sure that your shifter and your brake are all torqued down decently. It doesn't take a lot, just to make sure that they're finger tight. So now that we got the bike all cleaned up, gears are indexed, drivetrain is clean and lubed. Next steps, take it out and go riding. Or if you're like me and you have 5 other bikes you have to wash, that's your Saturday. Well-maintained pivots, a clean drivetrain, and a well-maintained clean bike will last you many, many years of service, offer you way fewer problems, and be more fun to ride. I think I might go get a paint pen from a car dealer and detail these scratches, at least cover them up in black. Might look a little bit better.